the game last week, the Michigan State game. We'll go right into that. Hey, Paul's home. Paul's home. That's all that matters. We'll talk a little bit about the all the bullshit that took place afterwards. But we'll talk about the game first. In my opinion, another easily dominated game on the offensive side of the football. I didn't put points on the board like you should have. Didn't score touchdowns in the red zone. But we moved the ball. We moved the ball with ease. Michigan State kind of had that mentality, bend, don't break, really, as we talked about. And when we did get in the end zone, we would move the ball, and then they would. I mean, yeah, they'd tighten up once the ball got inside that 20-yard line. But even with not scoring in the red zone, I said, twice we scored touchdowns that game? Jake Moody, 5 for 5, 54-yarder. I mean, a 29-7 game is, no matter how you look at it, is domination. I mean, and take out a fucking 2 50-50 balls and it's 29-0.
Right. Yeah, so that, that's the thing, right, is that it was a dominating performance from beginning to end. I never felt that we were in trouble or the game was in doubt or anything. My confidence level wasn't extremely high just because of the fact of what's happened in the past, especially last year, right? We're up 17, 20 points or whatever, and they come back. Until I forget exactly what it was, but early fourth quarter or so, I'm like, all right, we got it. When Blake scored that last touchdown, I'm like, okay, that's it. They're not coming back from this. But other than, you kind of alluded to the first half, they didn't really do anything. Keon Coleman had 155 yards, 5 receptions, but their own touchdown. But he didn't hurt us. And in the second half, old Jesse put a safety over the top, right? It pretty much shut him down. So it is what it is. A rivalry game, emotions run high. You expect the games to be closer. Would everybody like to see more touchdowns? Absolutely. That's kind of been a thing for us, and I feel like it's just as much execution as it is play calling. There, I forget specifically, but I know there was at least 2 drives where it was on the players, where they didn't make the plays. The play was there, so. Very easily could have been 42-7, 49-7. There was a couple columns Sunday and Monday about the complete, really domination, dismantling is what one guy called it. And, people going back and forth on Twitter. I really hadn't looked at the stat line, but I pulled up the stats because I was in the mood for an argument after our guys were assaulted.
Last chance you.
Yeah, and it was statistically it was. Yeah, they put some numbers up, but for the most part, they put them up when it didn't count. Never a serious threat. Never a serious thing. They ended up with 37 yards rushing, 215 yards receiving, and big fucking deal, basically. It wasn't a challenge. Things got a little chippy at the end, and that's kind of what we'll get into that in a little bit. But that's kind of what escalated things. That's just the nature of the rivalry. Little brother took it too far, but whatever.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm trying to find something. I'll save that for later. I don't know. I read something earlier. Well, the main thing for me, like a big thing that we've seen this season, is time of possession difference. I mean, the Michigan. I was trying to find a tweet, and I thought Scott Bell had put it out, but I guess not. I don't remember who put it out. But I mean, this game I'm not even gonna do the fucking math on that. Damn near 22 minutes.
Yeah, it was like 40-20, wasn't it? Close.
Yeah, it was 40 to 19 33 to 1927.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at one point they had all the third quarter they had -1 yards total or something like that. How about the fourth down stops?
Yeah, absolutely. And to go back to what you just said, though, the last 6-7 minutes of the game, they were negative. It's when we put our when we backed off a little bit, is when they got out of the negative yardage for the half. So I don't care who you're playing. You're playing a Division I school. That's that's impressive.
Yeah. Where was I at? But and then the defensive side of the ball, take out the 50-50 ball bullshit, which what I said last week's show was they're going to try to beat us throwing the 50-50 ball, and like you said, throw a safety over top, and it kind of took it right out of the question.
Yep.
And if you look, they went 2 for 11 on third down efficiency. They went 1 for 4 on fourth down efficiency with 2, in my opinion, huge stops in the game by the defense. That 3rd and 1 or that 4th and 1 right there at the start of the game.
Yep.
And then it was like a 4th and 1, I think inside the 10, wasn't it?
I believe that's right. Yep.
And I mean, we blew both of them up. Where did it go? I mean, defensive again, rushing attempts. Michigan State averaged 1.6 yards per rush. Had 23 rushing attempts and 37 yards rushing.
Right. And for us, one thing stood out to me. 2 games ago we didn't punt at all. 3 games ago, I guess 2 games ago we punted twice, but one was garbage time, right? And then only 1 punt here, so 3 punts in 3 games. That's another pretty amazing stat. And we were 5 for. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place here, but this stuff just keeps popping in my head. 5 for 5 in the red zone, right? So even though 5 field goals, getting points where there was a problem 3 or 4 years ago, and even prior to that, under the previous coaches, where we weren't getting any points. We'd get down there and wouldn't get any points, and that was something out of it. And I that's something that has to be corrected, before we get to Ohio State and possibly the conference championship and maybe even the playoffs. But I think it's a cool thing. One thing about having a great back like we have right now is I think it's really easy to become a little too dependent on them, and I think we've done that. But Blake has risen to the occasion countless times. But we need to diversify a little bit. But I do think that'll come.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in the process.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just gonna say, Tuck running, not coming. I mean,
right.
Where did it go? QBR 65. Oh, I know where I wanted to go with this. Thank you. I'm really glad that I just looked at the personal stats. Can we agree that Evil Hardball's back? I mean, throwing a double pass up 29-7 with 3 minutes left in the football game, and then trying to take a shot downfield right after that. Love it. I love it.
Love it. Me too.
I mean,
I'm here for it all day long.
Especially against rivals.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think evil Harbaugh's ever left, but he knew that he didn't have the team to back that shit up. And to me, that just shows that he says, "Hey, we're going to do this shit because we can back it up." You know what I mean? We don't need a breaks and locks. If we play to our ability, we can play with anybody. So it just speaks to his confidence in his team, and the coaching staff and everything they've done, because they come out trying to instill that confidence, and they kind of backed out a little bit because he knew they weren't quite there yet. But over the last 2 years, we've gradually seen it more. And I was out with a group of buddies watching the game. Excuse me. And when they threw that double pass with a couple minutes left, whatever it was, we all turned to each other and just laughed. It was like, yeah, he's on now. He's on one. He doesn't want to beat you. That's the it's like the old Woody thing. Why didn't you go for 2? Because I couldn't go for 3.
Go for 3, yeah. Oh yeah. No, I felt the. Oh my God. You weren't wrong about Kobe Buffkins looking good. Sorry to go off track there. I'm scrolling through Twitter looking for something, and he posterized the hell out of that center.
Oh, that was a hell of a dunk.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He just come down the key and took a sharp right and just hammered it.
Oh yeah. I guess going. I mean, Paul's home. Tuck runner not coming. I think this is, for me, the biggest thing to talk about is the bullshit that happened afterwards. I mean,
so there's no place for that, and I've said this a million times, and I'm sure I've said it to you, is that I can buy and would just about guarantee that
it's the tunnel.
Jimon Green, he's the one that was assaulted first, probably did walk up that tunnel talking shit. Get out, whatever. Get out of my house, bitches. Get out of my tunnel. No big deal. It's happened a million times before. It's happened a million times since. And if somebody would have punched him in the mouth for running his mouth, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. It would have been over with. But, and I know I jest a lot about the little brother, but I'm serious about this. This is the epitome of little brother. Hey, you wouldn't let me have candy, so I'm gonna go to the kitchen knife and stab you in the fucking leg. And whatever it was, I've seen from 12-on-1 to 6-on-1. Sure looked like at least 8 to maybe 10 people. 3 or 4 guys are doing the assault, while some people are trying to deliberately block the camera and get out. But then that McBurrow was assaulted with that helmet.
That was
right. I'm sorry, Jimon was the one assaulted with the helmet, and he got attacked because he come in to try to break that up. I've backed off of my initial thoughts, where I initially wanted all these guys out of school and off the team, and I think suspensions are worthy for everybody.
I think at least the end of the season.
If you hit somebody, probably to the end of the season. But that guy that swung that helmet, anything less than him going to jail and being off the team is unacceptable to me, because he concussed. Jimon Green.
Let alone what a helmet can actually
do. That's a brain
do.
injury, right? It's a bruising of the brain.
You can let alone kill somebody.
And this isn't hyperbole or exaggeration. He literally could have killed 100%. Him with a blow to the head with that helmet. So fuck him, and fuck anybody that wants to defend him. And there's a lot of people out there. Oh, he run his mouth. Sure, he run his mouth. So what? That's what everybody loves about the rivalry. And as I said in the beginning of this semi rant, is that
mine's building.
he would have punched him in the mouth and said, "Get the fuck out of here," and they had a little fist fight. No big deal.
Yeah.
No big deal at all. Sure, people would have been upset that there was fisticuffs in the tunnel, but the people that are saying it's a tunnel problem, no, it's a culture problem. This started with Mark D'Antonio and his hatred, and I'm here for it, right? I love the hatred that they have, but there's still got to be a respect factor. Mark D'Antonio started this culture. This culture is there at Michigan State, and you know there are still right and wrong ways to behave, and they just, bottom line is, they just egregiously crossed the line on this, and there's no place for it in college sports.
And like you said, I was going to go right into the tunnel thing. You pretty much said what I was going to say. It's not the tunnel, not even close. The tunnel's been there. I think John Bacon put out a really good tweet
breakdown of 720,000 people, you know, blah blah blah. He did the math over the years,
honestly, and you see people pushing, yelling, all that. You don't, but like you said, people that bitch, oh, he's talking shit. Motherfuckers, I talk shit to you guys, and you guys talk shit to us. Like, talking about fans wise here. We talk shit all week, all year. Shit gets talked. I'm not going around fucking swinging a helmet at your damn head.
Right. And then, you know, we don't know, and we probably won't. I'm not defending Juman if he did talk shit, but I have very little doubt that he did.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the winners of this rivalry game get to do. It's been okay for them to run their mouths for 10 out of the last 15 years, taking it to whole new levels. And, you know, we win one and chirp back a lot. And it's just not okay to, you know, I was born in a different era from now. And, you know, these guys get jumped like this. It's more and more common in my culture, in this culture. But, you know, again, bottom line, if it was a 1-on-1, even maybe a 2-on-1 fight with no helmets being involved, this would have been a non-issue. There'd have been some people chirping about it after the game, calling Sparty little brother, which is little brother behavior, you know, like I said earlier. But this was national headlines, and it's still being talked about now.
I mean, I think State's suspended 8 players, and that's one more point than what they scored during the game. But I found the John New Bake. Okay, go ahead.
I will say this: I don't really like to do this, but I do feel that State has handled the aftermath about. But
I mean, when you get your football operations head of football operations, like, literally run up and block a camera when it's going on,
right?
You kind of have to at that point. And when Kevin Warren, which fuck Kevin Warren, I can't stand Kevin Warren,
right,
is at
his
the game.
Son's on the team.
Oh yeah, like, but
so and you know, that was kind of my caveat to that is I'm not confident that they would have handled it the right way if there wasn't such a national spotlight on them. But I do feel like they have handled. See Maggie run by. I do feel like they've handled it pretty flawlessly from the time that, you know, they've announced the suspension. So kudos to them for not being around the bush. But again, I don't have a lot of confidence that they had a choice in the matter, but they have handled it very well.
So I found the John Bacon thing. He said, I mean, he's the main thing I read here. He said the Big House has hosted 600 games with 6 trips up and down the tunnel each game, warm-ups first and second halves. For 2 teams, that's 7,200 team trips, or about 720,000 player trips, and nothing like this has ever happened before. Even when you go back to the Woody Hayes Bo days, when It just doesn't. Yeah, you get pushed and shoved and screaming, yelling. Penn State,
Right.
like Penn State. But look what happened after the Penn State game. Both teams went up the tunnel and same thing, having a good old time together. Go back to the Hawaii game. During the rain out, you look at teams. That was one thing I seen today. Both teams. I mean, obviously it's Hawaii. Like, there's no bad blood. They were outside. They were out in the tunnel watching football games during the rain delay. I mean, it's. And I know you said it all started with the Mark D'Antonio hate, and like, cool with that. But I think Tucker's honestly made it worse, in my opinion.
So I don't want to get too offensive here, but I agree with you on that. You know, he has brought this hood culture, and got into a little bit of back and forth, all good natured, at least in my end, with Timmy on one of your Facebook posts about that. But with his cigar and his pit bulls and his cars, and
he's brought pretty much a gangster life to college football.
Right.
And
I 1,000,000% don't believe that he would have ever done the right thing on this. He, something that really irked me, and don't get me wrong, it's not hard to irk me with anything with these guys, but when he issued his apology, it was a 49-second video, right? And I forget, it was generic, and he didn't apologize to us, he apologized to everybody. He didn't single out, hey, I'm really sorry to the University of Michigan. He apologized for the behavior on behalf of the university and to the University of Michigan, but he had this statement that couldn't have been more than a paragraph or two, and he had to look down at it like at least 15 times, and you could tell he was just choking on the words, and it was the most insincere thing that I've seen, and I felt like he made a point to be like, okay, I'm up here reading it because I have to, not because I want to, not because I mean what I'm about
I completely thought the same exact thing. I remember when I was watching. I mean, at the end of the game, when all that stuff was actually happening, when they were pushing and shoving on the field, I asked Brittany. It was bad about how I was just screaming, yelling, "Fucking keep chopping, boys!" Just dude, and then that shit happened. Like stuff after the field, and I mean, I'll get the fuck off our field, blah 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 blah. Like I was at the stadium or I was on the field. But then I seen the video when we pulled up because we went out that night. I seen the video when we pulled up to the bar, and I was like, I want to go to Ann Arbor and fight now.
Right.
But I mean, there's nothing. No,
Becky asked me, if you were still working the games and you're in that tunnel, what would have happened? What would you have done? I'm like, I'd have been in the middle of
that would have got fired.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have been. That'd have been my last game at the University of Michigan. So,
oh my god.
Yeah.
No, another off-topic fucking thing here. I'm sorry. IMG Academy was up 96-0 to West Toronto Prep, and it's called. How do you damn near score 100 fucking points in the first half?
So I read that when you text me, hey, you're ready to do the podcast.
West Toronto has no reason playing them.
No, they flew 1,000 miles to. I mean, you would think. I have no idea about who, if they're like one of the elite teams in Canada, and the talent difference is that great, but to score that many points, you had to have like a bunch of pick sixes, and it's hard to score 100 points in Madden or NCAA in a half.
Bro, I can't imagine if that game played all the way through.
Right. 96-0. That would be an eye-opening, unbelievable game, and that they did that in a half. So I'm going to dig into that into that a little bit more when we're done, just to see what happened, because
Yeah.
there had to be punt returns and kickoff returns and pick sixes and 80-yard bombs and just nuts. Just nuts.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I think we'll go in, wrap up the Michigan State talk. I mean, move on from here. I mean, to the team at least. Team moves on from now. Forget about little brother.
Yeah. So one thing real quick is, and this is a little bit to do with today and a little bit to do with last week, though, is that, I read right before we got on as well, is that Michigan's going to be sitting some guys
like
today.
6 people.
And
6 starters.
Yeah. And G-Mon's one of them, right? He's still in concussion protocol. And he's been a fairly significant player for our defense. Rutgers almost beat us last year, right? So, I don't think that we're going to lose to Rutgers today, not even a little bit. But, that could have had, and McBrow's is coming back from injury anyway, so that's kind of irrelevant. But what if that was Blake Corum that got hit in the head with the helmet or something? That could have literally ruined our season, and that seems to be the way the football gods treat us. There's always seems to be, we always get the fluky crazy thing, and I'm still not convinced that something, I think this is the best team that we've had probably since,
I think we're way better than last year's team, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. And I think at the very least we're as good as the 2006 team, and I think this might be the best team I've seen since the 1997 team. And Blake Corum's still got a little ways to go, but he's, in my eyes, he's right there with Mike Hart if he's not quite above him yet. He's maybe the best back of my lifetime. And he reminds me so much of Mike Hart.
The way he runs,
the way he plays. He's Mike Hart with a little bit more speed. So
I mean, he's 1,000. I mean, let's see, he's sitting at 6 yards a carry this season, 14 touchdowns. This is his biggest. To me, this is the biggest thing with him. He is zero. He's never fumbled a football, which, knock on fucking wood now. But
yeah, Mike Hart never fumbled the football
until his last game,
freshman year, to his last carry.
No, he fumbled the football his last game against Florida in the Capital One Bowl. He fumbled the football on the 1 yard line.
That's what I just said.
It sounded like till you said his last carry, so I thought you meant he never fumbled at all. But yeah, no, I agree.
So if Blake Corum can get another 10 touchdowns and another 800 yards and win the Heisman, how far will he be behind Karan Higdon to you still?
I'm not that high on Karan Higdon. I'm not that high on Karan Higdon. I'm just saying Karan Higdon
couldn't change the fucking shoelaces in Blake Corum's shoes.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm saying
right. Garbage back.
No, he's not. He rushed for 1,000 yards. Yeah. That's not a garbage bag. On a really, really, and on not a good football team. A team that didn't have our offensive.
Right. That's why he did it. That's why he did it, because that's all they could do was run the ball.
No.
He averaged like 2 yards a carry for his career.
On to the next thing. Anyways, move on to Rutgers now. Last time we went to Rutgers, our program was, everyone wanted Jim Harbaugh fired, blah, 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 blah. Last time we played in New Jersey. Since then, it was the Cade game. Cade came in 17-0. Joe Milton sucked. Came back, won it, I think 48-42 in like 3 overtimes, whatever. But since then, we have it's kind of the game the moment that changed the trajectory of Michigan's path. 22-3 record since that game. Win over Ohio State Big Ten Championship playoffs. A very, very good chance to repeat all that. We're sitting at 8-0 this season. I think I'm trying to think. There was one more big stat that I had in my head that I just completely lost. We have all of our recent games, the most recent game against all Big Ten teams we beat.
And that's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, 100.
I don't care who you are.
I read that and I was like, "There's no way." But yeah, I mean, if you go back, we beat Purdue in 17. I mean,
Nope.
beat Ohio State. I mean, no one's beat us in the Big Ten in a long time, other than, I mean, at least the season.
Right. Yeah, Michigan State last year. Other than that, it's been two full seasons.
Awesome.
So, and not that it would have changed the truth. It wouldn't have. I don't think that we were good enough to compete with Alabama or Georgia. Maybe if we got matched up with a 1-4, we would have made the CFP final. But I don't think that we had a legitimate chance to win. But we should have won that Michigan State game last year. We gave that away, and in part it was taken away from us a little bit too. But more than anything, we gave that away when we let Kenny Walker run all over us. So Rutgers 4-4, right? 1-4 in the Big Ten. In the
not good.
Boston College, Wagner, Temple, in Indiana, and they only beat Indiana 24-17. So
they lost to Nebraska.
Right, not a high level of concern here, but again, with the way they played us last year, who knows?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, their numbers are just horrible. Passing yards, 121st. Rushing yards, 67th. They're 65th. Points for, tied for 227th.
Right.
And points against, they're tied 88th with 22.5. So, I mean, I guess their defense isn't horrible. Their offense looks to be atrocious. So I've honestly haven't watched any of their games.
No, I haven't either.
I mean, they haven't beat anybody, but anymore, dude. I don't get super. I've learned my lesson too much, getting super cocky about games.
Yeah,
especially games like this, is because until we get up a good amount, I just don't want to say we're gonna absolutely win, or especially we'll see who's. I don't know if they put out who all is out today.
Yeah, I didn't
Jamon Green and McBurrows.
read it. I was too busy getting on, but somebody had said so. We'll see. But one thing, Greg Schiano's a good football coach, right? He's not Harbaugh, Urban Meyer, Saban, whatever on down the line. But for whatever reason, he seems to play us tough. And he, to me, we've beaten them.
Last time,
what was it? A few years ago, 70-something to 3 years, or whatever.
20. It was 2016. We beat them 78-0. 9 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah. So, but he reminds me a little bit of like Indiana. That they always play us tough, even though we almost always beat them.
When he's there, they do.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm very confident in this team's abilities, and I think they're hyper focused. And I think Harbaugh's behavior shows that. I'm not taking anything for granted.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't take the spread.
No.
God, we never cover the spread ever. Michigan is not a team you take the spread on.
No.
Well, if it's high, is what I'm saying. If it's a high spread like it is today, it's 26. It's 26 today. No way. In my opinion, not going to happen.
No, and we should, but I'm with you. Yeah. We do not. We do not. If it's over 10 points, we do not cover. We just don't.
I don't know what it is, but the difference, I mean, we're scoring 21 more points than them a game, giving up 10, 11 less points a game. Their offense is all right, I guess. I mean, they're averaging. No, it's not. Never mind. They're only averaging 150 yards on both sides of the passing and rushing. And I mean, their defense isn't horrible. Yards allowed wise. I mean, I think Corum has easily another 100-yard day today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of funny is that they're scoring 20.1 points a game, and they're giving up 22.5.
I mean, you look at their games.
So that's
lost by.
That's a little bit of an anomaly, but I think we put up 35 on them anyways, and they might get 7 or 10, something like that.
Yeah,
but I think that this has kind of become a common theme is that I wouldn't be surprised if it's I don't want to say a nail biter, but a fairly close game in the first half. But because that is, our MO is we want to fucking punish you and beat your ass and wear you to the ground.
While you're down slowly but surely, and at the end of the second half, we're gonna come out and
then we're gonna do whatever we want after we've kicked your ass.
Oh, Michigan is one of
your defense on the field for. After we've had your defense on the field for 25 of the first 30 minutes or 20 of the first 30 minutes, and your guys are gasping for air at halftime, and anybody that's played any type of endurance sport knows once you get gassed like that, it's hard to get it back to the end of the game. And these guys are obviously in supreme physical condition, but to just get manhandled like that, and that's why Jim Harbaugh is playing the way he does, is that there's no turnaround from that. The only defense to that is good depth, and there's 5, maybe 10 teams in the country that can handle that, and Rutgers isn't one of them.
My main thing is, can Rutgers stop every time we go in there making it a fucking night game, please? Why? Right. Schedule Nebraska or Indiana or somebody like that as a night game. Game you can actually possibly win. And I get you're trying to get everything, but another thing, why the fuck are both teams wearing white? What in the God's fucking name?
I didn't think you could do that.
I didn't either. Unless the Big Ten or NCAA came out and said, no, Rutgers, you're wearing a different jersey, but I haven't seen anything about that.
No, I have not.
When I seen Rutgers was wearing white, I was like, oh, Michigan's come out wearing maize. I guarantee it. Which I would be pissed off because that game that's what we should have wore last week. But yeah, white on white. I mean, I know we're gonna have the maize underlinings, kind of make us pop more. And I mean, our helmet makes us pop enough, especially in a red against a team that wears red.
Right.
But like you said, I didn't think that was even illegal in the NCAA terms. But I mean, we'll see. I think it's an easy win. I think we probably 42-14, something like that.
I'm gonna go 38-7.
Yeah, I think maybe they get just like pretty much every team has did against us this year. They get that drive where they get the big plays. Penn State did it. Michigan State did it. Iowa did it. I mean, you get those one or two big plays that kind of just sets them up for a success. Like I said, I picked that. I think it went 42-14.
Yeah, and real quick before we jump on to the next thing is that Mike McDonald was awesome last year, right? But I think Jesse Minter is a little bit better, shockingly, and I don't think there's any argument that he's better at adjusting on the fly, and second half adjustments for sure. So a lot of confidence in him and our defense, and I forget the numbers, but I want to say that we're like as a team, we're like 10 sacks ahead of where we were.
Yeah, I think we're
this year at this point last year.
30. I think going off last week, I think we were at 32. And then after that, I think the year before we were at like 27, 28 last year at this point in the season.
Yeah.
I mean, going off that, I was when we hired Jesse Minter, I was very on edge about him. I'll say I mean, if you looked at his teams and when he was, where was he? Vanderbilt? Yeah. He's at Vanderbilt's defense sucked.
Yep. He was only there for 1 year too, though.
I get it, but
last year was
you don't have the team. I mean, you don't have the players that Michigan does, but like you said, he's wholeheartedly came out and proved to me that he's
been lights out.
Great.
No complaints about him at all.
Oh shit. But yeah, I think again, easy win going to next week against Nebraska. Have our last 2 home games of the season coming up after this week. Nebraska, Illinois. Won't jump too far ahead, and then end of the month.
Yep.
Biggest game of the year. Doesn't matter how you look at it. So 4 more games, 3/4 the way through the season.
We just got to take care of business.
Yeah. Do our job, dude. Just Michigan's got to do their job out there. I don't see any doubt. At least there's no doubt in my mind that we can go 12-0.
Yeah, no, mine either. Ohio State's not gonna. I guess maybe
they can't stop the run game. We found that out last week.
Yeah, I mean maybe Maryland can give us some trouble, but Northwestern's not going to give them any trouble. Indiana's not going to give them any trouble. So we'll see what happens, but we still got Illinois and Rutgers and Nebraska.
The Illinois game turned into a
the table's set. The table's set, right? It's here. So there's going to be almost a catastrophic failure by one team if they don't go in there undefeated.
I would very much so love that. I would very much love to see Michigan, Ohio State 1-2 going into that game. I don't think it'll happen because I think whoever's going to win the Georgia-Tennessee game today will be number 1. I mean, I think I think Ohio State jumps. SEC fucking bias bullshit. I think Ohio State gets jumped and stays at 2. I think whoever wins that game is going to be number 1.
And I think so too, but I disagree. I think if we both go into that week undefeated, that the national hype will almost mandate that they're 1 and 2. Well, let me back that up.
You could have said the same thing in 2016, though.
And you could have, but it's all about the hype for the TV stations now, and they have so much control over that. But I will say this: if Tennessee beats Georgia today, I think that they deserve to be number 1 until they get beat, because they have already, not counting today, played 5 top 25 opponents and beat them all. So hats off to them. And I'm
saying if Georgia, really what I should have said was if Georgia beats Tennessee, they jump.
Yeah.
That's what I should have said. And while we're here, I mean, we're kind of talking about CFP, so this kind of rolls into the next topic. I mean, I think the committee, I don't know what the committee was looking at this year for rankings wise. I mean, get it. Tennessee, Ohio State, Georgia, 8-0. This is my first big thing is obviously Clemson, Michigan. I don't think I know none of this matters right now. I just it doesn't. Do your job. You'll be there at the end of the season.
Right.
But the Michigan Clemson ranking to me, I think Michigan got fucking hosed.
And they did. I don't see how Clemson's above by anything. My thought
the argument is they beat 3 top 25 teams, one being Wake Forest, trash, North Carolina State, not a good top 25 team again, and then Syracuse again, not a good top 25 team. They're right there, but they weren't when they played them. North Carolina State was ranked 10th in week 5.
Yeah. So I got no problem. I got no problem with Tennessee being 1, and I really got no problem with Georgia being 2 or Georgia being ahead of us. And I really think Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, you could make an argument for anybody to be ahead of the other. Ohio State really hasn't played anybody. Georgia, to me, they're the defending national championship, so they get their place in line. But and I also TCU's played a decent schedule. I can't believe that one loss.
Yeah,
I can because of the SEC bias, but they should for sure be ahead of Alabama at this point too.
Oh no, let me. That's where I was going to go next. I mean, you go. I'm about to go off an SEC bias rant. How the fuck is LSU number 10? LSU is not that good.
Right.
Bama's going to roll them tonight. I hate to say it, but because I hate fucking Alabama. But you have 1, 2, 3, 4.
See, I think LSU is going to win that game.
No, LSU's not that good. LSU's going to get fucking rolled. You have 5 teams behind LSU that are 7-1. You have UCLA, Illinois, North Carolina, Tulane, which whatever. Tulane's not going to get up there unless you can't lose the ball game being a school that small. I mean, Tulane's just down the road, but from here. But again, there's some. I feel like there was some plants that got put into the top 25 this year. Yep. At least in the new one. I mean, Texas 5-3. That was to make Bama, in my opinion, Bama's consideration for why they should still be ahead of TCU.
Yep.
There's another one. I mean, for Clemson, they left Syracuse and Wake Forest, which you can argue both of those teams to be in. And North Carolina State. How do you put all 3 teams? All 3 teams that Clemson just happened to beat 2021, 22.
Right. That's to justify their ranking of Clemson. That's
exactly. Okay, but you go to the outside looking in. You could throw Maryland in there. Maryland's 6-2. Where's Maryland at?
Right.
Maryland's got, in my opinion, better wins than. I don't care. A lot of people will argue this, but for true football, the way it was played back in the day, if you like true down to the fucking earth football, the Big Ten, in my opinion, is the toughest conference to play in.
It is.
When I say toughest, I'm not saying the best. Like we win every year, but we beat the living fuck out of each other all year. We run the football. I said, watch USC and UCLA come. There's that meme when they said they were going to join, and Michigan lines up in a I formation with 4 tight ends in the system.
Right.
Because you just don't see that really in the SEC anymore. There's a few schools that SEC is about the only conference really where I think where you'll see it other than the Big Ten the most. But everyone switched to that spread. And I mean, in the Big Ten, you have Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, that still run that down to earth football system, and it really hasn't hurt us And it hasn't hurt us, but I mean, this year it's kind of hurt Iowa, and Iowa's offense is atrocious, though. But when you get a team around it, it works. But like you said, the defense, and I don't argue that the defenses down here. You can argue that they're not. I don't know. It's because it's tough because it's a different style in my opinion. The Big Tens. That's why I say the toughest, not the best.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, you do your job. It doesn't matter where you end up at the end of the season.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line. But you know, the talk and the debate is kind of to me a big part of what makes college football. And the Big Ten does get disrespected on a national level, particularly in the South, because the SEC is they have more talent, and they're a little bit more as a whole, as a state, right, football craze than we are up here. But they don't. Man, I lost where I was going with that.
Fuck the South. Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
No.
So it doesn't matter. But Paul Feinbaum's got a national audience, and
oh, fuck that motherfucker.
And there's so many people that just blindly listen and believe, and you can go back to our last election cycle if you don't buy that. Instead of doing their own research, they believe what they're told to believe. So I don't think that the disparity is that big, and I think that if you threw in whoever, Georgia, Alabama, now you got Tennessee into the Big Ten East, that I don't think that they would run through anybody. As you said, it's I think we're way more physical. They're a lot more finesse.
Finesse, fast,
top to bottom, right?
Yeah.
Bama's a really physical team. Georgia last year was a really physical team. But as you said, it'll all play out in the end. The season's 2/3 of the way over, as far as the regular season goes. So,
I said a quarter.
We're almost there. What are we on to the picks next?
Yeah. So 10 games. I'm getting my ass whooped. So I'm just gonna try to pull shit out of my ass at this point.
Yeah. How's that work out when we're playing Madden?
Anyways, this is not a video game talk show. It's a Michigan Michigan sports talk show. So we won't talk about that. First game, Battle of the Academies, Air Force, Army. I think I gotta pull these games up now. But yeah, first one, Air Force, Army. I haven't even made my pick yet. I picked. Hang on. Let me get this set back up. You can make your pick though.
I'm going Air Force.
I don't even remember who's the better team in that. That's why I'm doing that.
Well, I don't either, so I just went blindly. But if you're going to,
I think no. I was just seeing. I was just wanted to pull up this. I think I mean they both run that triple option shit. I'll go Air Force. Or wait, okay. No, not Air Force. I'm sorry, Army. I'm gonna take the underdog. That's what I meant to say.
So hang on, what's the score right now?
It's 0-0.
Okay. Because the game started at half hour. That's what you were doing.
Yeah, what?
The game started at 11:30. You were trying to see who was up.
No, I didn't realize that game had started earlier because I pulled it up and I was like, oh fuck, it's already 5 minutes left in the first quarter. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get off. I'm off ESPN now, so don't worry about it. I didn't even realize the game started because there's some games starting right now. Like I'm on full mode right now. You said Air Force, right?
Yeah.
A fucking chair force. All right, next one. Texas, K-State. At K-State. I'm gonna take Texas.
I'm gonna go K-State.
Yeah, well, there goes another loss for me. Next one, in my opinion, probably a biggest question here game of the day. Question. Clemson, Notre Dame. At Notre Dame. Notre Dame's gotten better since that first week 1, 2, and 3. When they looked absolutely atrocious. I mean, they ran through Syracuse last week. I don't want to do it because every time I pick Notre Dame, they've screwed me over this season. But I'm gonna pick Notre Dame to pull off the upset.
I'm rolling with Notre Dame too, and I've been. This has been my biggest. I knew that was going to be one of your options, right? And it's been a struggle. It's been in the back of my mind the whole time we're doing this podcast. Versus, don't let what you want to happen dictate what
I know
you think's going to happen.
Yeah,
but I do think that, as you said, Notre Dame's much improved, and I do think that Clemson's overrated. Even if they blow Notre Dame out, I think that says more about Notre Dame than it does Clemson. But yeah, Notre Dame for me as well.
Yeah. Next one, I think we're both going to go. I've kind of already written this one in for both of us. Illinois, Michigan State. At Illinois, I think Illinois blows them out.
I'm going to go with Illinois, but I would not be shocked. Sparty's been under the scope right for a week, and under D'Antonio, that's when their back was to the wall, was when they played the best. Again, my pick is Illinois, but I would not be shocked if Michigan State pulled that off.
So you pick Michigan State, got it?
No, Illinois.
Michigan State, MSU. Next one, Battle Texas Tech, TCU. TCU again playing great football. Texas Tech already pulled off one upset this year, I think of maybe two. Beat Texas A&M, I think. Yeah, 100% on that. On the A&M one. Could happen again. It's at TCU, though. TCU's offense explosive. I'm taking TCU. Give me the Horned Frogs.
TCU.
Ohio State, Northwestern. Ohio.
I'm rolling with Northwestern on this one.
Are you really? Well, no. I honestly, I'll pause right there. I mean, I figured that you were just fucking around. But I think this is a trap game for Ohio State.
And I do believe that, but I do think that they win pretty handily.
Oh, yeah.
But it is definitely a trap game.
They don't come out.
Every game from here on out is a trap game for both teams, I think. Maybe not Illinois for Michigan.
I'd say Illinois is going to be a top. Illinois damn near might be a top 10 game.
Yeah,
depending on what happens.
Illinois is going to lose today. I'm not picking it.
No.
I'm not picking it as my pick. I am not picking it as my pick. But I'm telling you, Illinois is going to lose today.
You can't say Illinois is going to win and then say that Illinois is not going to win.
My pick is Illinois, but I think they're going to lose.
So Illinois is going to win. Got it.
No,
Illinois is going to blow them motherfuckers out.
No, I don't think so.
They very well might shut them out. Yeah, their offense is trash. They're definitely going to.
You want to know what? I got a big enough lead. Change my pick to Michigan State. Change my pick to Michigan State.
No. You can't do that either.
The game hasn't started.
Yeah, it did. Oh,
did it? All right, whatever.
I don't know. I don't honestly know what time that game starts. So if it's a noon kickoff, man, this shit throws me off. Okay, I need to get off here. This score's up, and I didn't look at any of them.
Oh, of course you didn't.
I didn't. No, I really didn't.
Fucking cheap motherfucker.
I didn't look at them. Next one, Iowa, Purdue.
Iowa.
I'm taking. I mean, Iowa's got the defense. I'm taking Purdue. Purdue hasn't looked bad this year. I thought Purdue would be better than what they were this season.
Yeah, I did as well.
Especially with the way they started. Next one, kind of surprising game here, at least in. I don't know if Arkansas scheduled this game as like this, but Liberty versus Arkansas. Liberty 7-1. Arkansas is 5-3. It's at Arkansas. I mean, I got to get points here. I'm going with Liberty.
Me too.
God damn it!
And the Illinois game doesn't start till 3:30. Change my pick to Michigan State.
No, you can't do that. We're already 4 past that. It's locked in already.
Right.
Hey,
if Illinois wins, don't you dare try to fucking change it back then and say, well, you said change it. Don't do it.
I already changed it. See?
Let me see it.
See it?
No.
You see with your eyes, so you can see it. No, this is Illinois. Then the 2 big games today, which God forbid. LSU Bama, first one. Battle of the South. It's at LSU, which that place was fucking wild last night.
I'm rolling with LSU on this one.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an easy point for me there. So I take whole row Tide, even though I can't stand them. Can I tell you, dude? We were walking back to because I went to that concert last night. Just real quick, we got one more pick, but this is something to do with this. Went to Baton Rouge last night for that concert. We're walking out, and all these fucking LSU fans, dude, just wouldn't shut the fuck up. Go Tigers, blah, 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 blah. And then there was one dude that yelled Roll Tide from the bottom of the steps of the parking garage. Everybody fucking stopped and just started screaming at this dude. I'm walking. I don't care. Like, literally, the people in front of me stopped and, like, looked down the stairwell, started screaming, fuck Tide, all that, fuck Nick Saban. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get out of here before I get into a fight. And I'm not even part of this rivalry.
Right.
Last one, big game of the day. Tennessee, Georgia. I think this is going to be a hell of a game. I think it's going to be a very close game. Could be wrong. I mean, I also thought that Oregon would play with Georgia at the start of the season. But I don't think the Vols get it done. I think Georgia wins. I think Georgia's defense is still not as good as last year's defense.
No, but I think Tennessee gets exposed a little bit today.
Yeah, I do too. So we shall see. So therefore, yep, that's it. That was the last pick. Sit around till fucking 6:30. I gotta work tonight, so I'm gonna miss the second half, but hopefully we're up by a lot. But yeah. Anyways, guys, probably won't do a show. I mean, sorry, I know last week we were supposed to do a show Sunday, and then we were supposed to do it Monday, and then I got busy and forgot. I don't know if you forgot, but I forgot.
I didn't, but I figured that.
Work it. Talk about that, but we'll try to do a recap show tomorrow. Just because it's another late game today. I wish it was an early game. That way I could just hop right back on here. So see y'all tomorrow. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Noon?
Sounds good.
Okay. So we'll see y'all tomorrow at noon. As always, go blue and hail. I took your line. Ha.